G'day punters, welcome to the mailbag powered by puntingform.com.au, the only database in horse racing. We all use it, you should too. We're going to preview the group races, the good races in Perth, Ascot. No one's allowed in there, Peter's not allowed out, but there's good horses there, there's good racing to be bet upon, and we're going to do it. If you want to bet every single race on Saturday, race by race, accountable unit of betting advice with Pistol Pete, head to themailbag.com.au and get yourself sorted. We're also going to try and find a winner at Pakenham. I can't believe it. You probably can't either. But if you're a part-time participant, we are actually have a Saturday Metro meeting at Pakenham again this year. There's a little bit of narrative though, a little bit of flavour. J Car's back. She comes back tomorrow. Mornington Valley double header. Also could make up that she rides Dirty Deeds at Moonee Valley on Friday night for Simon Zara, who's gone out on his own. Good luck to you, Simon. And great booking. Thank you. We appreciate the narrative. She's back, Peter. I know I've had to have a chat to Jackson about keeping it together. I haven't actually talked to you yet because you're not making betting decisions over here for the brand and the team. But I know you like to do a little bit of your own wagering in Victoria. How excited are you?
I'm so excited because I have barely placed a bet in Victoria since J Car was suspended.
Yep.
And now here she is, just here to clean up, summer series. You got the 100%. Good jockeys. Who knows where they are?
I think she's one of the greats, and she's going to be very, very, very hungry. Jockeys, I suppose, 7 days a week, they're actually are physically hungry. But I mean, she's going to be hungry to take back her throne as the big dog of Victorian horse racing.
Can you imagine what would happen if she comes back and rides, say, 10 winners in the first fortnight? The narrative that will then build, can J Car win the Jockeys Premiership after missing 3 months?
All the people who sort of probably thought, geez, we put a little bit too much pressure on her last time, they will just go straight back into their old ways, you think?
Absolutely.
We are not going to preview any races on this show at Moonee Valley, but we will have mounting yard mail for each and every race. That's accountable unit betting advice delivered to your app. Head to themailbag.com.au if you want to get Jackson's mounting yard mail on our betting decisions. Peter, should we start at Pakenham or should we start at Ascot?
Clearly the better racing is at Pakenham, so we should start at Ascot.
Okay, let's do it. Ascot race 3, is that where we're kicking off, my man? A benchmark 72, the Amelia Park, over 1,100 metres.
Yes, indeed. Interesting race. I reckon you could probably attack this from about 5 or 6 different ways. There'll be people who want to be with written matter. We were with it first up. We already got the cash out of it. Interesting that it had heat stress on the day, still managed to win. I'm not exactly sure how much more to come from that horse going second up. I know it did win second up last preparation, but it sort of went really strong through the line. I thought there might have been a little bit more of a flat spot there over the last 200.
But yeah, well, wouldn't heat stress probably be a good thing? Like I ran 6-minute 20Ks, don't laugh, and I felt like I was going to die. I got heat stress that day, and I think I got it again this morning, and I ran 6-minute 10Ks. So if I was a horse, I've improved.
Yes, indeed.
And that's sort of the spectrum from which I view most things in life now as a thoroughbred.
If you're a horse.
If I was a horse. What kind of... Yeah, let's not get ourselves in trouble.
Yep.
Anyway, back to race 3, Peter, sorry.
I just don't like the map for written matter this time. This is a really tricky map for a lot of these horses, outside of the fact that Jackie boy, Zeeble, will roll forward with Kenny Luck on the outside of it. Zeeble has really gassed itself over the last 200, the last 2 starts, both starts so far this preparation. Drops back to 1,100. Chrissy Parnham jumps on board. He'll be able to lead this. I just think he ticks a lot of boxes. I think he's going to be the one that will be there, get a little break into the straight, and everyone else, I don't know where they'll be in run, because they'll all be thinking the first 100, 200 metres, going, I need a position here, I need to find cover. Zeeble will be off and gone. I'm with Jack.
So this is a young Jack Zeeble, because if you listen to the Barefoot Punter, Cam Dean's big on Jack Zeeble, who will be out the back getting a cheap kick.
Yeah, exactly.
No intent, snickerdoodle-dandly.
Yep.
So we're rolling forward. This is a young Jack.
Jack Zeeble will lead.
Grouse.
That's all we need. But I'm not really sure what the market does here. Like, I'm happy to take a bit of a price early. We're giving $5.50 or so. And if it drifts, I'll have some more on late. That's how I roll. Bet the drift.
Right. Race 5 is a 1,400 metre weight for age, Group 3. The rail's at 8 metres too at Ascot. Please advise what that means. Now, I just see a lot of familiar names here.
Yes.
A lot of names that I've come to know and love
Yes.
in Perth. One, a little bit more than others. One that sits a little bit closer to my heart than other horses, and that's because it's yours. That's number 7, Salaya.
Yep.
The boys who really watch in our sort of big team now, there's a fair bit of lead in the pencil amongst the boys about this horse. Is Saturday going to be the day?
Well, she draws to sit leaders back, otherwise known as the coffin, otherwise known as the box seat.
Depends if you bet or not, or just call them.
Yeah, indeed.
Although, imagine how much trouble the race caller get in. He's in the coffin.
Yeah. Yeah. Play on. I think the big thing here is that we're getting a price of Salaya because she is racing outside the handicap. Now, this is one of those great races where she goes up to weight for age for the first time, whereas she's previously been running in fillies and mares and 3-year-old races. And everyone's saying, oh, she's giving away, however many kilos, 11, 10 kilos, blah, 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 according to the weight scale. Now, we don't necessarily focus on that here at the Mailbag. You take it into account to a certain degree, depending on what sort of position and run they'll be in. This is not going to be a high-tempo race. Massimo will lead. I don't think there'll be too much other pressure in the race going forward. And it comes down to what are her benchmark figures, and are they good enough to be posing a threat? I think they are. And you're getting $19 to find out, which is an outstanding price.
What price are we getting about Stage Man, who, just on a glimpse in this race, which I am only glimpsing, and I'm certainly not going to step on your toes, Peter, but Pike goes on.
Yep.
I'm looking through the form. The SPs are pretty strong, but I'm looking Elite Street. Like, if it didn't, is it known that it bled?
Yeah, it bled.
If it didn't bleed last start, it wins at Group 1, and then it also ran into Graceful Girl last start, which was that same race.
Yep.
So that's on it. Like Pike on Barrow 1, small field. I'm getting a little bit excited.
Small query for me to 14, and also Gate 1. It doesn't have great gate speed. Pike doesn't necessarily get along with this horse either. He said it quite publicly that he's not totally enamoured with riding this horse. It will probably be last the fence and needing to pogo stick Pike his way out of this. So,
what does Uncle Bob say to him when he says, I don't like this horse?
I don't know. That's a really good question. I imagine Bob says, well, I don't have any other runners in the race, so just do your job.
How about you just sit on it and get to work?
Anyway,
that sounded dirtier than it was meant to be.
Yeah, it wasn't. Look, Comfort Me's going. It's just absolutely flying, that horse. Can't knock it. Price is about right now. Valor Road was 3 wide, no cover in the railway. Probably ends up similar, if not last. Not sure. Red Can Man going well, but again, is it at its level already? You're not really getting any price on anything here, so I'm more than happy to just back my own horse, have a decent owner's bet. She's good enough. I think
she's going to get every possible just continue to glimpse as you dribble and yarn about the race. Like Massimo's like the track and trip horse. You're thinking it's going to have its back. It's like $4.50 in this market. Sometimes like I get a little bit worried, Lucy Warwick Coffin, but she might not ever get past Massimo. It's certainly not like it's going to. It's favourite to kick and let her out, not stop and ruin our race. So another tick for the Salaya fans each way all day. Peter, what's the next race before we touch on the big one?
Race 6. Race 6, another race where there will be plenty of opinions. There's lots of different ways that you can attack this race. Flying Missile going well, steps back up to 1,400, which I'm a little bit against. Last start for me off that slower tempo just suggested that might have been an end of prep run, that one. Just really peaked over the last 200. Other horses in the race, real danger will get back. Liwa's going well, but the market hasn't missed. Ace Fire stepping up in class, so to speak. Figures have been okay. Probably needs to find a couple more. Look, I think the horse that is all X factor here, and again, at a bigger price, is Sparkling Blue, the 9. We were with this horse last start.
That's the only time it's failed.
Yep.
Could be 3 from 3.
I love the step up to 1,400. Love it. And as long as the track's playing remotely even, look, I'm expecting he'll play on speed early. Depends on how... Yeah, if there's a stronger wind than what's forecast, it might play a little bit longer than that, but I'm expecting it'll be relatively even by this stage of the day. A Sparkling Blue, I just think has a bit more X factor than a lot of these rivals. And again, $14 is a great price to find out. I've got it closer to that $8.50 mark. Maybe a slightly sticky gate, but I'm not anticipating, again, a great deal of speed in this race. I think they'll find the positions early, and then I'll tack along. Need some momentum. Wide gate should be perfect for that going into the straight. So for me, Sparkling Blue, great price to find out how good this horse is.
I love this. Righto, race 8, Kingston Town, 800 metres, Group 1, weight for age. Will we see a Cox Plate runner come out of this race this year?
We should. Look, the gate's not necessarily the easiest of all time. You've got Trap for Fools and Too Close to Sun from 7 and 10, which should roll forward. Western Empire, I think Pike will just follow them across because the horse does jump quite well. Just might be a few nervous moments early if they're not going particularly quick. The 1800 can be a bit of a sticky start because it's on the corner, just coming out of the corner, going into the back straight. So you have to roll forward.
Does he like this horse? Has he said he likes this one?
He does like this one.
Like as a bloke, as a horse?
You'd have to be insane not to like this one. It's possibly
one. Well, we know how much they love cash, don't we?
Yeah, indeed.
And not all of them. Some of them would rather hang out in cupboards, but most of them love cash. And Western Empires earn Pike a lot of cash.
A cash machine. Yeah, look, only dramatic bad luck beats this horse.
Beautiful. Enough said. I think we've got some nice options there if you've listened for Ascot on Saturday. But again, if you want to get it race by race, Mounting Yard Mail Saturday, Peter?
Yes, indeed.
Eyes on Ponies, Pistol Pete. I love it.
And minimum bet laws now. Minimum bet laws from 9 a.m.
Glorious stuff. Glorious stuff. You're well and truly back. Let's quickly touch on Pakenham.
Here we go.
I swore I'd never bet at again last Thursday, and here we are literally 7 days later. I'm only going to have one bet. One bet for the show here. It's race 8. It's an open race, open set weights, penalties, blah, blah, blah. 400 metre, 1400 metre race. Now, Yulong January, I thought the trials were average, or at least hard to read, sort of ridden, but then stopped when not ridden in the second one. It was a mile off. Maybe Sir Callahan in the first one. It was okay. It wasn't asked to do anything.
Yep.
It's favourite here. So then, and Peter, which is a starting point, I think it has to be a starting point when you think about, it's a stupid thing to think to do, but if you do think about betting at Pakenham, which I'm saying is a dumb thing to do almost always, you want to try and find a horse, particularly if it's had, say, 5 or 7 starts, that's shown you something that says, hey, I don't mind racing at Pakenham, because I'm convinced it's almost like it's a different atmosphere, or there's different grass, or it's something's different, and Pakenham horses go well at Pakenham. So it's one of the ones that don't like the trial. There's another horse here that has 2 starts at Pakenham for 2 wins.
Polar.
And you wouldn't believe it. It's actually the
J-Car.
horse to follow. If you read the mailbag content the other day. This horse was enormous when not suited. Brett Preble rode second up behind Duchess of Dorset, who's been a very good horse to us and a very good horse to anyone who would have owned it and backed it. It's a really nice horse for this time of year, Duchess of Dorset. Third up now, Stokes, back to the home track, which is a tick. If a horse hasn't raced at Pakenham and it's Stokes back to the home track, El Hardy last Thursday night, that's a tick. But this horse is already 2 from 2 at the track. Oh, hang on. J. Carr on. Huge tick. I think this thing's a bet and a half. I really do. I think maybe you could knock that it failed third up last prep, but it was up in trip. They were obviously trying to get up in trip last time. Previous start was behind Hindam, who was a pretty good horse. J. Carr sits. J. Carr's 1 from 3 on this horse. She's ridden it a few times. She knows what she'd have a good idea of this horse. I think it's a bet. I think you can have $200 on it, $350. We had the 200 on last week, we won. Maybe the week before as well, we won. So have your bet on. If you want to bet more, though, you want to bet all of Mornington tomorrow, all of Moonee Valley Friday night, head to the mailbag.com.au. download the app and we'll hold your hand all weekend long, all across Australia. Have a great weekend. Bet responsibly, but bet until it hurts.
Bye for now.
Just bet.
No.
Bet with us. Bye for now. Bet.
Bye for now.
Oh.